Very nice to be here today. Thank you for very nice presentations all day so far. My name is Lucas Uhlén. I am a representative from Kista Science City, and I work with the development of the arena and testbed within Kista Science City. This presentation, I will focus on data-driven projects here in Kista conducted already today within the umbrella of Kista Science City. I will look upon these projects with the scope of what sensors that we're using, what kind of data that's actually extracted from this project today, with a future focus on what new collaborations can be made from these data sets and these setups that we are enabling here in Kista. And to start off, I'm just going to describe a little bit about the organization, Kista Science City. And as you realize, the name Kista Science City is both the name of the district or the area, business area that we're in today, and also the name of our organization. And as someone mentioned here during the inauguration, we've been around for quite a while, more than 40 years, since we are owned by the foundation, Electron Foundation, that was created in the 1980s. And we're actually in the Electrum house or building today, as you've seen written on the floor somewhere. And the foundation is founded by both the academia through the University of Stockholm, the Royal Institute of Technology, as well as the industry in form of Ericsson, IBM, as well as the municipality and region of Stockholm, with a focus on creating an innovative and sustainable society. And this is still our scope 40 years later, and we also added the focus with the SMEs here in Kista and attracting new SMEs here in Kista. And in short, we are an enabler for these projects, initiatives, and collaborations here in Kista. This is our purpose and focus written in other words, to enable collaborations and also get access to the urban environment. Because we are both an organization enabling cooperations, but we're also a testbed, enabling access to the physical infrastructure or the urban area here in Kista to conduct tests. And as my previous speaker talked about the environmental goals running towards us very fast, it's also important that we act very fast and being fast in being able to do these tests, pilot tests. This is a picture actually with the help of Anton here. He doesn't know it, but this is connecting to the digital twins that we're talking about more right now. And this picture represents the testbed, the physical testbeds, where we have different tests and projects conducted here in Kista today. And this street over here is Kistagången, where it's actually right outside that way. And also Hanstavägen, we have a lot of tests being conducted. And this is just some of the tests being conducted today. To move into what the vision of all these projects can deliver to us in form of a city perspective. I borrowed this pictures symbolizing smart urban zones and potential geofencing. We accumulate a lot of data today, but with the help of digital twins, we might be able to put them in another context. What if you can, in real time, define the situation that we're in, for example, steer the traffic composition through the environmental, the emissions from particles, or the emissions from noise, or the knowledge of the number of bicycles to intersections ahead of you. This is done partly today, but I think the full potential is not reached at all. But with the help of digital twins and these data sets that we are all creating here with the different projects, I think this is achievable. So to move on to some of the projects that are being conducted here in Kista today, and with the focus, as I mentioned, on what data they can deliver to new collaborations here with SSL. From the left, we have a lot of different multi-sensor systems mounted here in Kista, both fixed and mobile, connected to different projects. I'll get back to those. Next, for example, we have connected waste bins. We have, together with the district, local district here in Rinkeby-Kista administration, we have around 200 waste bins connected with IR sensors and connected through LoRaWAN or narrowband IoT, looking at both the fill rate, but also doing iterative, innovative steps in looking at the perceived safety and littering in combination. The picture to the left, vehicle as a sensor, is actually two projects in one, where we had, it's a Finnish project, where we had a small electrical vehicles moving around here as a shuttle service, and at the same time we also mounted sensors, environmental sensors on them. And as you might have heard from the previous presentations, there are some similarities here from the projects that we have conducted. I think there's lots of potential in combining these in future projects. Now moving back to the multi-sensors. So we want to enable the access to the physical environment here in Kista for different kinds of collaborations. One project, for example, is multi-sensors in Kista, and it's a collaborative project between three technology companies delivering different kinds of technology. Stockholm stad as well as Kista Science City, with the focus on counting and classifying traffic. And here is just an illustration that I wanted to show that for an organization that either in a collaboration or in a test want to showcase or visualize or develop their technology, it's not that simple. It's not easy from a regulatory perspective or from an infrastructure perspective to be able to mount them in the urban environment. And here we want to be an enabler. And this is the multi-sensor project installation during this in May this year. And here was the result, looking at the intersection. And what you can see here, we had three companies mentioned that was part of this specific project, but there are more companies with their sensors also mounted in this system that makes a more comparable studies, enable more comparable studies. And small startup companies that don't have this possibility can compare themselves and showcase themselves towards potential buyers in the futures. Moving on, the SMART project conducted between 2020 and 2022. The scope of this project is to identify the real travel patterns of citizens. And again, I think you've heard something similar already today. What we used in this project, we had mobile data from the mobile phone, the GPS data from vehicles, personal vehicles from TomTom GPSs, as well as Wi-Fi data from specific bus routes. And we're combining these data sets and looking at the travel patterns in and to Kista to be able to define how do people actually want to travel? Is there a path that their optimal path? And the potential result of this, as this is another collaborative project with the three, Bambi Labs, Semantic, Rumble, and Rise, this might actually result in a new bus line, which is very interesting. Moving on to the latest project in the portfolio, which was mounted during this summer, which is built on the multi-sensor project here in Kista. We're trying to take it to the next level and combining data, where the multi-sensory project focused on the qualitative data sets for counting and classifying traffic. This project focuses on combining data sets with the traffic flow and the environmental data. Another focus was also to look at the innovation process in the innovation zone. And this is done in Hornsgatan, which is actually a different test bed, but sister testbed to us. And just to give you an idea of this, is the noise pollution done by our sister project and by ITRL at the KTH, which we're trying to combine the multi-sensor data with this data, so we can know that each and every one of these moving vehicles, we have the sound pollution. By combining a knowledge of what the actual engine there is in this vehicle, or the size of it, can give you a lot of interesting data sets to analyze further. To finish off, we have several different other exciting projects up and coming. We're actually mounting both radars and LiDARs in the near future, combined into even more data sets that might be able to be accessed for other projects as well. So in summary, we want to be an enabler, and it's very exciting to hear Oscar talked about the needs here before, and we really want, it matches our suit very well, what we want to help the city with, as well as the projects presented here in the morning. I see there's a lot of synergies and taking the research, as was spoken in the inauguration, from research into the city and connect it to the industry. I think we can be an interesting part to combine with and to access or achieve this. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much.